Like, really? You've been here 2 days. Okay, so it is time now to shift gears from our cotton core bra conversation, sticking with the same brand. But now we're going to talk about the panty set, and a panty set that we've actually reduced in price by $11. It's called the Micro Hipster. I don't want you to think that the word micro means like the size of it. It actually has more to do with the fabric. And hipster also does not mean so low rise that it might as well just not even exist. It simply means not as high rise as your full brief. You can actually use the model as a little bit of a gauge. And we'll talk about that, but can we also talk about the price on this? This is $7 each from Cuddl Duds. And when we talk about the comfort fabrics that Cuddl Duds actually produces, this is where it's most important, right up against you. So we have 2 color options. I'm going to start with the one down here. To be clear, you get 4 in every set. We just borrowed one for our little mannequin here. So this set right here is called the Cirrus Blue. So it features a blue, but you can see we've also got the basics in an ivory, a sand, and a black. And then our second set is called Bright Coral, which includes a petal pink and a deeper shade of sand, a black, and of course, as named, the coral that is on the mannequin. So let's go to size chart, Karen. This one, of course, is really important, so we want to make sure we get it right, but I love that it is so generous. For example, even if you're a size 2 in a dress, you can go with the small and still be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely, Jen. And you know, sometimes we don't know our measurements, and that's okay. If you do know your dress size, I know it might sound a little funny when we're sizing intimates, but if you do know your dress size, you can move to the left, small through 3X, and you will hit the nail on the head. I don't know about you. I don't always know my hip measurement or my waist measurement.
Girl, that is the last thing that I'm coming out with the tape measure. Stay away from my hips with a tape measure. Thank you.
Don't want to know. But I do know my dress size, so I can size up perfectly. Yeah, doesn't it feel like it just came out of the refrigerator?
This fabric. Was just about to say, I feel like I touched something that's 15 degrees colder than the room. How is that possible?
I know. I think it's magic. So refreshing is definitely a word. And I don't even know if the designer said, let's make it refreshing. But that's what it feels like when you touch it. There's some wonderful, wonderful luxness to it. It's rich, the fabric, but there's stretch. It's beautiful. And there is 100% cotton gusset, fully lined cotton gusset. So you get that. But Jen, I mean, you can't like overshoot the fact that this is so smooth
silky
underneath whatever it is you choose to wear. Yeah, and the silky feel.
Well, the story here is the fabric content. This is, remember when, and some of you watching are too young to remember when, but they used to call like pantyhose nylons, right? So stockings were nylons. Right. That's because the silkiest ones, like the ones that, you know, a step below silk, were 100% nylon. This is 77% nylon, and the remainder of it, 23%, is spandex. So that keeps it hugging the body, but that nylon gives it that silky feel. And I have to believe is also what makes it feel so cool to the touch, because this isn't anything that has a roughness to it or like a matte finish, where it's really going to be important in closer fitting pants or silky dresses. We had a maxi dress in our last show with Allie, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, that this could be the perfect undergarment for that, because nobody wants the letter in the mailbox. You know what I'm talking about when you're wearing a long skirt, right? So it keeps everything all nice and smooth. And look at the coverage that you're going to get on the backside is probably better for me to show you on our little mannequin. And the other thing I want to talk about, Karen, is the waistband of it and how there's no cutting elastic in.
Yeah, no, the waistband is definitely worth pointing out because it's completely covered with the gorgeous micro spandex. And you know what, Jen? It doesn't cut you. It doesn't cut into, you know, your lower waist there. Yeah. So, I mean, it just lies nice. It doesn't roll. It doesn't fold. It's really super terrific. And then the one other thing I would point out, because I think it's worth shouting from the rooftop, is the leg opening. Super, super comfy, stays in place. And that narrow, like it's really thin, that elastic at the leg opening. And that keeps those panty lines from being really prominent.
These are $7 each. Like, that's what I keep coming down to when I go, ooh, the fact that this bonded waistband is so smooth, the fabric is cool to the touch, it's silky, you don't feel seams against the skin, cotton gusset to keep everything feeling cool and dry, and they come down to $7 each. Now, initially this set was $10 each. They were $39 and change. It's now down to $27.99. If you picked up just one set, my whole philosophy when it comes to clothing and shoes, and I'm working on jewelry, but I don't know if I'll ever get good about that, is one in, one out, right? So I'm like maxed out in the closet. So if anything enters, something else doesn't make the cut, right? And usually the first few are kind of easy, but then as you go throughout the year, you're like, ooh, what's gonna go now? This is an easy one to cycle in and cycle out. Whatever the oldest ones are, you get rid of those, you put the fresh and new ones in. So if you get 2 sets, you discard 8 to 10, all of a sudden, like every morning when you get dressed, you feel fresh and renewed from the inside out. It's not the apparel that everybody sees, but it's the one that you feel, and that's what lays the literal foundation for how the rest of your body feels. If we could, let's go to that size chart again, and Karen will walk us through, then we'll see color choices, but once these are sold out, they're gone forever. Here's your sizes.
Oh, yeah, easy to size too, Jen, dress size. I mean, that's just the easiest way to do it. Move to the left, and we have, the set of 4 in a small all the way to a 3X. So really just go with that jump dress size, and you'll hit the nail on the head.
All right, it's A614508. Remember, we have the Cirrus Blue, and then the setup here is your bright coral. Can't go wrong because they all have great neutrals inside of them. And Karen, thank you so much for bringing us these 2 sets. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jen. You bet.